There comes a time in every woman's life when the mirror starts to reflect more than just the physical. It shows stories, years lived, moments endured. For many women over 60, this reflection brings doubts. Am I still beautiful? Society often whispers that beauty fades with time, that youth is the currency of attraction. But Cicero, the great Roman philosopher, offered another vision, one that modern culture tends to forget. He believed that aging brings not decay, but dignity, not loss, but refinement. For Cicero, the beauty of age lies not in the body, but in the soul's clarity, in the wisdom gathered, in the calm strength of someone who no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. Still, the world may not always reflect that truth. The beauty industry shows mostly young faces. Social media celebrates tight skin, flat stomachs, and wrinkle-free smiles. And so, many women, after raising families, building lives, surviving losses, and joys alike, look at themselves and ask quietly, "Where did my beauty go?" But what if the question is wrong? What if your beauty never left, it only changed form? What if beauty at 60 plus isn't about resembling your younger self, but embracing your current truth with grace and pride? Cicero spoke of senectus, old age, as a chapter of purpose and peace. He didn't see it as a fading of usefulness but a blooming of character. He argued that just as fruit matures and sweetens in its own time, so do human beings. He saw the elderly as teachers of temperance, moderation, and inner peace. And what is more beautiful than a woman who knows herself? Who walks into a room without needing to be the loudest, but whose mere presence offers comfort, strength, and authority? Modern society has forgotten how to look at older women. It either infantilizes them or renders them invisible. But this invisibility is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of society's blindness. You, woman of 60 and beyond, carry the kind of beauty that cannot be filtered or edited. It is a beauty that has seen sorrow and did not break. That has loved deeply and continued forward. That has built homes, careers, legacies, and done so often in silence, without applause. The pain of feeling unseen is real. Many women describe walking into family gatherings only to be asked if they need help sitting down, instead of being asked what they think. Some say they feel like decorations in their own homes, present, but not fully included. But Cicero would remind you, you are not a decoration. You are the pillar. You are the wisdom in the room. You are the living proof that time adds value, not diminishes it. You do not need to look younger to be beautiful. You need to look inward and see the beauty that time carved gently into your soul. Every wrinkle is a line of poetry written by life itself. Every silver strand a reflection of resilience. You are not less. You are more. More experienced, more real, more powerful. And it's time the world caught up to that. There is a kind of beauty that cannot be seen by hurried eyes. It is the beauty of a woman who has lived. A beauty that no makeup can imitate, no camera can fully capture. It is the elegance of survival, of quiet mornings making coffee while the world still sleeps, of soft hands that once held children, soothed fevers, signed contracts, held the hands of aging parents, and cooked meals that carried the taste of comfort. This beauty is not on magazine covers. It lives in the shadows of everyday acts of love. Cicero wrote that the mark of a virtuous elder is serenity. He believed that true peace comes not from a life without pain, but from having walked through storms and learning how to carry them without bitterness. For him, aging was not a sentence, but a sacred passage. So many women reach their 60s and feel like something is missing, like they are no longer admired. But Cicero would ask, admired? By whom? And why should the opinions of a world obsessed with youth define your reflection? You are not competing with your younger self. You are not supposed to look like you did at 30, nor should you. That version of you was still learning, still searching. You now have arrived. You have answers. You have seen patterns, endured, betrayals, found meaning in small details. That is not a downgrade. It is evolution. It is the flowering of a life that has roots and branches and shade to offer others. Why do so many women feel invisible after 60? Perhaps because visibility in our culture is tied to usefulness and desirability. But what if you are no longer here to be useful for others, but to be whole for yourself? Carl Jung, a modern thinker who echoed many of Cicero's ideas, said that the second half of life is not about doing but about being. And being in your fullness is your most beautiful state. You are no longer defined by tasks, roles, or expectations. You are free to explore the richness of who you truly are. Too often, beauty has been measured by symmetry, by youth, by softness of skin. But what if the real standard of beauty were depth? If we could see the soul behind the eyes, if we could hear the music in the voice of a woman who has loved and lost and still chooses to laugh, that is where your beauty lives. Not in a waistline, not in makeup, not in a mirror, but in the way your story walks into a room with you. Let the world chase youth. Let the commercials sell anti-aging dreams. You carry the grace of presence. You know what matters and what doesn't. You know how to comfort others without words, how to sit in silence without needing to fill it. That is beauty. That is rare. That is yours. Somewhere along the journey, many women begin to feel like they have to apologize for aging, as if wrinkles were mistakes, gray hair a flaw, slower steps a failure. But these are not signs of decline. They are the visible proof that you have lived, that you've kept going, day after day, through joy and loss, through responsibilities and forgotten dreams. And there is no shame in that. Cicero wrote that the mind of an elder, free from the chaos of youth, gains clarity. That wisdom becomes a mirror more honest than any reflection of the skin. Still, many women wake up, look in the mirror, and feel the sting of absence, not of youth itself, but of how youth was once celebrated. They remember compliments, glances, the feeling of being seen. Now, they walk through grocery stores and feel invisible. They speak and are interrupted. They offer ideas and are overlooked. This is not a reflection of their worth. It is a cultural blindness. But you do not have to accept it. You do not need permission to value yourself. Beauty after 60 is not loud. It doesn't need to be. It radiates quietly, like candlelight instead of fireworks. It's the beauty of a face that has nothing to prove, a body that no longer chases approval, a voice that doesn't rush to fill silence. It is the strength to rest without guilt, to say no without explanation, to dress in what makes you feel alive, not what hides your age. Jung said that the second half of life is when the soul begins to whisper its truth. If you quiet the noise around you, you might hear your own voice again. The one that knows what you love, what brings you peace, what makes you laugh. That voice may have been buried under years of obligations, of trying to be enough for everyone else. But it is still there. And it is beautiful. Your beauty does not belong to the past. It is present. Not in a perfect image, but in real presence. The way you sit with someone and truly listen. The way you remember birthdays. The way you speak about your life without bitterness. These are acts of beauty. These are the things people remember long after the face fades from memory. Do not ask the world to see you. See yourself. Show up in your own life with the same devotion you gave to others. Buy flowers for your table. Wear lipstick if you want to. Walk slowly and enjoy it. Dance in the kitchen. Read poetry aloud. Your life is still yours, and your beauty is still blooming. It is a quiet heartbreak that many women feel but rarely speak about. The feeling that their presence is no longer essential. After decades of being the center of someone's world, of wiping tears, preparing meals, remembering every birthday, holding families together, there comes a shift. The phone rings less. Decisions are made without your input. Conversations happen, around you, not with you. And in that silence, the question rises, am I still important? Cicero would say yes, not only important, but necessary more than ever as a source of moral clarity in a world moving too fast to reflect. But importance does not always come with recognition. And beauty, the kind that comes from depth, often goes unnoticed by those who haven't yet learned to look beneath the surface. That's not your failure, it's their blindness. You've reached an age where your beauty is not meant to impress, It's meant to inspire. You no longer need to chase admiration. You are the one who knows where to sit in a room to bring calm. Who knows when to speak and when to remain quiet, not out of submission but out of strength. Many women lose themselves in roles: mother, wife, caregiver. And when those roles shift or disappear, it feels like identity itself has vanished. But you were always more than the roles you played. You were the force behind them, the fire that kept things warm, the roots that held others upright. And you are still that. Your beauty is in your resilience, in the way you remake yourself again and again, each time life requires you to. Jung taught that midlife is a threshold, a doorway to wholeness. The journey is inward. It's about uncovering the self beneath the performance. At 60 and beyond, you have nothing left to prove to anyone. Not your children, not society, not even your past self. What you do now, you do because it feeds your soul. That's not selfishness, that's maturity, that's wisdom. Wear your age like a badge, not a burden. Let your eyes carry the stories of 1,000 mornings. Let your hands speak of kindness more than smoothness. Let your presence enter a room like a song people didn't know they missed. You are not an echo of your younger self. You are the full voice now, deep and true. And if someone fails to see that beauty, let it be their loss, not your burden. Your job is not to make others comfortable with your age. Your job is to be fully, unapologetically you, alive, aware, glorious, in all the ways that youth never knew how to be. There is a sacred beauty in being at peace with yourself. It doesn't come suddenly. It's earned, slowly, through experiences that shaped you, through heartbreaks that didn't destroy you, responsibilities that tried to wear you down, moments of silence that taught you more than words ever could. Cicero once wrote that the value of old age lies in its freedom, the liberation from desires that once enslaved us. And isn't that what you now possess? The ability to live not for appearance, but for essence. Not to be desired, but to be deeply known. You no longer need validation. That hunger fades with time, not because you've given up, but because you've grown up. The compliments that once filled your cup now feel shallow compared to the peace of knowing who you are. You look in the mirror and see not just a face, but a lifetime. The hands that once held your children now hold books, letters, teacups, and they hold them with grace. That's beauty. Quiet, unshakable beauty. And yet, there may still be moments of doubt. Society is loud. It tells you to erase your lines, to color your hair, to slim down, to dress, age appropriately. But what if rebellion at this age means refusing to disappear? What if the most radical thing you can do is show up exactly as you are? Not polished, not edited, but whole. With laughter lines that prove you've lived. With eyes that have seen things too sacred to be spoken aloud. With a presence that doesn't ask for permission. Jung called this stage the time of integration. When the parts of us we hid, the dreams we postponed, the truths we silenced, all come back, asking to be lived. You still have dreams, desires, curiosities, and you are allowed to follow them. Not because time is short, but because time is now yours. This isn't the end of your story. This is your next chapter. The one where you stop editing yourself for the sake of others. Where you no longer apologize for taking up space. Where you rediscover your voice, not as a whisper, but as a song. Your beauty is not shrinking. It's expanding into the space you finally allow yourself to inhabit. You are not a woman past her prime. You are a woman who has arrived at her essence. And that essence, real, wise, grounded, is the most powerful kind of beauty there is. Let the world adjust to your presence. Let them learn what grace looks like when it grows roots and stands tall. You have nothing left to prove. Not to the world, not to your children, not even to the woman you used to be. She, the younger version of you, did her best with what she knew. She cared, she gave, she tried, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. But now, it is your turn to become not what others expect, but what your own soul calls for. This stage of life is not a decline. It is a deepening. Cicero spoke of old age not as a winter, but as a harvest. A time when the seeds planted in youth and nurtured through struggle finally bear fruit. And what fruit you carry. The ability to say yes only when you mean it. To say no without guilt. To rest without shame. To speak without fearing disapproval. This is the true reward of aging. Not perfection, but permission. Permission to be authentic, to be slow, to be soft, to be bold. And in this authenticity, a woman becomes magnetic, not in the way of fleeting beauty, but in the timeless draw of wisdom and presence. Let others chase the illusion of eternal youth. Let them paint over their truths. But you are the real thing. You are the one who laughs at inappropriate moments because life is too short to stay quiet. The one who dances in the kitchen, who sings badly but sings anyway. The one who wears red lipstick not to impress, but because it makes her feel alive. That is beauty that can't be sold, can't be copied, can't be erased. Jung believed that the final gift of a mature life is integration, the joining of all your past selves into one whole being. You are that being. You are not just the mother, the daughter, the professional, the caretaker. You are the woman who endured and became, the woman who lost and rebuilt, who aged not with fear, but with courage. You are not a chapter. You are the entire book. So to you, woman of 60 and beyond, know this. You are beautiful. Not because someone else says so. Not because you still look good for your age, but because you carry truth with grace. Because you've stopped waiting to be chosen and have chosen yourself. Because you've decided to see yourself clearly, completely, kindly. This video is not just a reminder, it's a mirror. One that shows you what the world forgot to tell you, that you are still radiant, still needed, still powerful, still growing. You are not fading, you are becoming. So take up space, wear what you love, say what you believe, live loudly, rest deeply, and above all, never again question your worth, because your beauty is not a memory, it is a legacy in motion. And the world is better because you are still here.